Hazelcat, Hazelcat, rescue cat who knows where it's at. Use a chair for her bed, pair of cymbals by her head. Look out, here comes the Hazelcat. This season we're doing something different. Rather than 2 episodes, we're going with 1 long episode each week. A lot of things changed in the 2nd season, most notably who produced it and what they had to work with. The budget wasn't enormous to begin with, and it got slashed again. That means we get more reused footage than ever, and with rare exceptions, we don't see any more of the usual Spider-Man villains. That way the show didn't have to pay extra to use the characters. Ralph Bakshi took over the reins of the show. At the time, he was writing for an animated show called Rocket Robin Hood. His influence and the influence of that show on what he does here will be apparent as we go along through the next 2 seasons. Anyway, we begin with 40 seconds of Spider-Man just swinging around the city doing nothing interesting. He finally lands at home.
And that's the picture, Aunt May. I just have to get a job.
But, Peter, you'd have to drop out of school. Anyway, I have my pension.
No, Aunt May. That's not the way I play it. I am the head of the house now that Uncle Ben is gone, and it's up to me to earn some money.
Today I am a man.
That drug the doctor prescribes for you is pretty expensive.
It is that, and lately it hasn't helped much. In fact, it made me feel worse. But what can you do? Have you any plans?
Sure. I heard today they need a copy boy at the Daily Bugle. It isn't much, but who knows? I may be a star reporter someday.
No, but he will become a star photographer. Building off his origin story last time, we've gone back to the very beginning. We're watching Peter learn how to make a living with his abilities without becoming a circus freak. Or trying show business again.
Well, here goes. I hope I get the job. Of course, with my spider powers, I could get all the money I ever need, but that wouldn't be honest. I'm a crime fighter now. Gotta avenge Uncle Ben.
Oh, don't worry, they won't take him off the rice boxes for another 50 years. Oh, he meant... Didn't he already do that?
What in blazes is keeping Dr. Omar? That quack should have been here an hour ago. I got a good mind to... Jameson here. What? I told you, Miss Brandt, that I don't want to be interrupted. Oh, the kid whose uncle was murdered. Well, why didn't you say so? Send him in. No, wait. Tell him he's hired. And get him started right away.
1,000 people were murdered in New York in 1968, but he remembers this one because he loves rice. Betty's tried to explain it to him, but he's not listening. Speaking of Betty, she shows Peter to a desk right next to Jonah's office. A Dr. Omar goes in, and Peter is close enough to hear the conversation.
You must believe me, Mr. Jameson. This fake medicine racket is the most terrible scourge ever to hit this town. The Hoods have a lab somewhere where they make their cheap imitation pharmaceuticals and then force the druggists at gunpoint to buy the stuff.
Not only does it not work, it makes people worse. The black market for pharmaceuticals has been a problem for as long as there have been pharmaceuticals, but this just got personal for Peter.
But we do know one thing.
What's that?
The head of the ring is the Kingpin.
The Kingpin? That fat slob of a racketeer? You must be kidding.
Don't underestimate him. He is the most...
Here, Peter, you may as well begin now. Take this printing schedule to the press room. There's nobody there now, so pin it on the bulletin board.
In the press room, there's a phone booth. No, I don't know why. A shadowy figure is in the phone booth making a call. Peter recognizes Foswell, Jameson's star reporter.
My spidey sense is tingling. That phone call.
Listen, Jameson is blowing the whistle tonight. Yeah, big headlines. The doc just spilled it all. Yeah, the whole bit. What? The box? Sure, I got it placed. Yeah, as soon as the presses start rolling.
Okay, Foswell. We're coming over and teach Mr. Jameson a lesson in journalistic ethics. Jameson! Where the pipsqueaking swinger? He dares to defy the Kingpin!
Jameson called him fat, and Spider-Man liked to make fun of his size, but his bulk was no laughing matter. That's not fat. It's all muscle. He's almost as strong as Spider-Man is. He was introduced in 1967 and became a quick favorite. He was a standard Spider-Man villain until the 1980s when he moved to Daredevil's neighborhood. At this time, he didn't have a name other than the Kingpin, and he didn't have any kind of backstory, because in 1968, we didn't care where the villains came from. We just wanted the hero to hurry up and put some lumps on his head.
Oh, the Kingpin. So the doc was right.
You catch on fast, Jameson. I'll come to the point. Kill that so-called fake medicine story. You're steaming up the public, and it displeases me.
Skip it, pal. Nobody tells me what to print in my paper.
Jonah is a lot of things, but nobody can accuse him of being a coward. This guy smashes the door with his fist. He has 2 stereotype gangsters with him, and JJ tells him nothing doing, go bother somebody else. He has to know that also is going to displease the Kingpin, but he wouldn't care if it was Galactus or Thanos. Nobody tells him what to do with his paper.
Blindfold him. Mr. Jameson elects to play games, so we'll have to accommodate him.
Suggestion? You might want to gag him too. Your ears will thank you for it. Peter watches them take Jameson to their car. He didn't plan it this way, but he's basically using Jonah as bait to find out where the Kingpin's hideout is.
Quick, Harriet, look! There is a man swinging on a long rope. Shucks, he just walked up the side of that building and over the roof. Did you see him?
Cut it out, Harry. If you keep seeing things like that, they'll put you in the funny farm, walking on the wall.
But he did walk on the wall. I saw it with my own eyes.
My mother told me not to marry you here.
Should've listened to Smokey Robinson and shopped around a little. Remember, we've gone back to the very beginning. Nobody's sure this spider guy even exists. There have been a few sightings like that, but he hasn't really revealed himself yet. He's still getting a handle on the best way to do this crime-fighting stuff.
I'd better watch it or I'll wind up in Hoboken.
And unless you're a New Yorker or are really into learning about the city, that line is meaningless. In the 60s, Marvel did that a lot. It was an ongoing joke that the big city East Coast elites thought us out west folks still lived in mud huts and cooked over an open fire. I just have one question for them. How did they know?
So that's the Kingpin's castle. I wonder if I'm dressed for royalty.
I don't think I'd interrupt him right now. It sounds like he's practicing the drums.
Now look here, you big tubbalard. You can't do this to me. This is a democracy.
You got your ideology mixed up, writing man. Here I am king. Now, I give you just 5 seconds to kill your ridiculous story. Here. I can't believe it. What is it?
Then there is a Spider-Man. And I thought the police were pulling my leg. Wow! What a story!
No crawling insect is going to spy on me.
I give up. From now on, I'm going to assume everybody thinks he's an insect because the symbols on his suit have 6 legs. The small amount of new artwork that was done for this season fixed that and put 8 legs on them, but there's so much reused footage you never know how many you're going to get from one scene to the next.
Get him, boys! Out on the terrace!
He can climb walls. The Kingpin really thinks his goons can deal with that? That was easy. One of the henchmen wants to unmask him. The Kingpin says later. Jonah says, why not now?
Oh, So you're interested?
He runs a newspaper. A guy who runs around acting like a spider is news. You do the math.
Put him in the big tank while he's making up his mind. And stick that pink termite in with him. They should get along fine.
See, I told you it's basic math. 1 goon plus 1 fist equals ouch. How do you not know that?
This'll hold these jokers until the police get here. Now, you can't do any good here, Jameson. Get out and call the cops. I'll take care of the Kingpin. And don't forget to get that edition out.
I doubt he'll forget, especially since he now has some nice juicy details to tell. First person, no less. Since when does Spider-Man need an elevator anyway?
You win the round, Spider-Man, but I win the fight. Remember the black box.
The black box. Is he planning to crash the helicopter?
Hey, just what did he mean by that crack about the black box? Foswell said it too in the phone booth.
It's your basic time bomb, and it probably would have done the job if the Kingpin had kept his big mouth shut. Spider-Man will figure it out pretty quickly, then hitch a ride on a passing blimp to get to the Bugle building. In the press room, the workers are holding off starting the run until Jonah gets there per his orders. But they can't delay too long or the edition will be late.
Okay, boss. Roll it!
Hey, who are you? What's the big idea?
Now you may push that button as soon as the webbing melts.
What was that, a bomb? I can't believe it. Would you believe one of Mother Murphy's coffee cakes?
I have no idea what that means. Is it another New York thing?
Is that you, Peter? Oh, Peter, how was the job? Anything exciting happen?
Oh, nothing, Aunt May. Just routine.
After the excellent retelling of Spider-Man's origin story in the first episode, I had great hopes for this season. This episode dashed them to pieces. I can sum up what happened in one word: padding. We have long stretches where nothing happens. We're watching Spider-Man swing from point A to point B. After he disarms the bomb and heads home, we have to listen to the entire theme song again while we watch him. It wouldn't be so bad, but the visuals are the exact same footage that we've already seen 3 times in this very episode. While I was extracting clips and writing this script, just for the heck of it, I pulled out all the instances of that kind of padding. This is a 22-minute cartoon. 8 of those minutes are nothing but this kind of filler. That's nearly half the episode. If you don't have enough material to fill 22 minutes, do what they did in the first season. Make shorter stories and more of them. But suddenly, everything about this show screams no money. I really don't understand that because by all accounts, the show was a hit. When that happens, you don't slash the budget, you increase it. So very little of this makes sense. And I'm sorry to say it'll get even worse in season 3. So for now, let's just do our best to enjoy and understand these stories. Aunt May has her real medicine again, so she's getting well. I guess that's good enough for one day. The show didn't have to pay